Esteemed colleagues, we continue our working day traditionally on Thursdays with the Deputy Mission Head, Mr. Alexander Hoge, with his press briefing on the activities of the mission.
Good afternoon, my friends. These press briefings have become a valuable opportunity for the OSCE Special Monitoring Mission to raise some of our immediate concerns. These, as usual, in particular relate to violations of fundamental OSCE principles and commitments, those in respect of human rights and fundamental freedoms in particular. Today, however, I would like to start by highlighting another aspect of the mission's mandate, that of reducing tensions and promoting normalization. Thousands of Ukrainians on both sides of the line of contact continue to suffer from interruptions to essential services such as water, electricity and gas. The inhabitants of Spartak at the northern outskirts of Donetsk are among these. In January this year, shelling damaged the water pipeline so badly that the utility company Voda Donbassa had to suspend supply of water. For the last 7 months, the residents of the Kuybevsky, Kievsky, Kirovsky and Petrovsky district of Donetsk have experienced shortages of portable water supply. This week, thanks to the persistence and bravery of the employees of the Voda Donbassa, this situation has changed. Over 5 days, the OSCE teams from Donetsk and Kramatorsk helped to broker a localized ceasefire which allowed the company to make the necessary repairs. The water is now flowing again to the residents of these districts as well as the village of Spartak. Spartak is one of several villages on or close to the line of contact which have benefited from intervention by the OSCE Special Monitoring Mission. This week, the OSCE monitors also helped to broker a localized ceasefire to allow the restoration of the water and power supply in Luhansk. In many other places, however, in the last week, across Donetsk and Luhansk oblasts, OSCE monitors have witnessed yet more violence, resulting in the injury and death of civilians and combatants, as well as the destruction of housing and other infrastructure. Moreover, there is reported use by all sides by the use of heavy weapons, including 122 and 152 caliber artillery. In Donetsk Oblast, fighting remained focused at and around the remains of the Donetsk airport and Khorlivka on the so-called DPR side, and in the areas of Marinka, Krasnohorivka and Avdiivka on the government-controlled side. We observed the aftermath of shelling in DPR-controlled Khorlivka that killed people, destroyed residential buildings and disrupted the utility network. We also saw damage caused by shelling to houses in government-controlled Marinka and Luhansk. Tensions remained in the area north of Mariupol, and the SMM noted indications of renewed violence near Shirokine. In the meantime, the area between government-controlled Staro-Khnavdivka and DPR-controlled Novo Laspa became new hotspot. where both sides accused the other of using heavy weapons. In the Luhansk Oblast, the main hotspots were government-controlled areas around Shastia, Trochispenka, and Troiske, and on the LPR side, the areas of Kaloinove and Vesela Hora. The sides on opposite ends of the bridge of Stanica Luhanska fought during the week. The OSCE Special Monitoring Mission continues to experience widespread restrictions of its freedom of movement and other impediments to fulfillment of its mandate. In the last few days, these have included the denial of passage, the denial of access, interference, and even destruction of assets of the mission. On Sunday, 4 OSCE vehicles were destroyed by fire in the parking lot outside the mission's residence in Donetsk. The OSCE reports developments affecting its own civilians in exactly the same way as it reports developments affecting Ukrainian civilians, objectively, impartially, and promptly. In this case, the SMM also informed DPR members who came to the scene. Needless to say, we condemn all violence against civilians, including our own civilian monitors. 3 weeks ago, the SMM reported on how
3 тижні тому ми говорили про що були зруйновані наші камери на наших безпілотниках, а також камери. Вчора з того часу перше ми змогли розташувати ще один такий засіб. Цей засіб, цей безпілотник також його подавляли, а також в кількох регіонах на півночі і сході, також від Маріуполя, на півночі та заході. Вони впливали на функціонування камер, а також контроль цим безпілотником. Є, здається, деякі люди, які хотіли, щоб ОБСЄ припинило свої звіти про ситуацію в зоні конфлікту. Є ті, хто вірять, що напад на цивільне населення також на їх власні. Це оправдані методи для того, щоб це зробити. Дозвольте мені одну річ зробити, чітко пояснити. Ми залишаємося на сході України, також ми будемо продовжувати спостерігати, а також звітувати про ті факти, як ми робили протягом останнього 1,5 року. Обмеження щодо пересування продовжують впливати на всіх нас. Цього тижня СММ ми спостерігали обмеження вільного пересування людей, а також базових товарів, необхідних між контрольованими та неконтрольованими ділянками, районами. Ми в неділю спостерігали, проходили через український блокпост, коли вони, наприклад, коли від лінії 600 спостерігали 600 автомашин, які були в черзі. Більшість з вас, або ваші друзі, або члени сім'ї, також вони проходили через це. Є небезпека обстрілу, і можуть бути, коли вони в контакті з взривними предметами. Ми також звітували про велике безробіття, а також складну фінансову ситуацію, яка змушує багато цивільних людей залежати від гуманітарної допомоги. Нас турбує те, що це може далі погіршуватися, ця ситуація. ДНР і НЛР, вони самі не визнані. Вони настоюють, що міжнародна та неурядові організації мають реєструватися у них. ДНР змушує організацію припиняти свою діяльність до 10 серпня, поки вони успішно не зареєструються. Останнє. Кілька слів про Мінські угоди. Цього тижня СМС продовжував спостерігати зброю там, де звідки вона мала бути виведена. Вони виводили, українські збройні сили, також ДНР, вони не дали нам спостерігати це і не давали доступу до деяких районів, або не давали нам перевірити наявність зброї в тих регіонах. В середу, наприклад, ми бачили 11 гаубиць, а також гради. Вони відсутні були на українській базі, а також 6 гаубиць зі сторони на тій базі, де вони мали бути в ЛНР. Цього тижня СММ прийняла нових спостерігачів, які будуть всі працювати на Сході. Цього тижня СММ має 835 членів, 525 спостерігачів, 67 інших міжнародних працівників, експертів, 243 українці, які працюють в нашому персоналі. Дуже дякую за увагу. Я з радістю відповів на запитання.
TV channel 112. Could you please say whether Ukrainian side has registered the considerable raise in shellings? And the second question, that burnt of your vehicles in Donetsk, do you think this was an attempt to push you out from Donetsk and Lugansk oblasts in order to prevent you from carrying out your mission?
Українська сторона заявила, що
Ukrainian side has stated that there is an extreme raise in shellings, the biggest number of shellings on Ukrainians on behalf of the separatist side.
In response to your first question, as I have outlined in my briefing here, we have indeed registered an increase in shelling since Sunday. We have also seen the emergence of new hotspots along the contact line, mainly in between the line Donetsk and Mariupol. And we have encountered numerous locations on both sides of the contact line where we have seen the usage of heavy weapon. And both sides have reported to us that they are using heavy weapons at the contact line. Now, with regard to the incident of last Sunday in Donetsk city, I do not want to speculate as to what and who might be behind this. But one thing is clear, the burning of our cars limits our ability to drive safely in the area where we should do our job. And not being able to drive around safely also hinders us to report of what is going on. And not being able to report of what is going on makes everyone blind in Ukraine. Because the OSCE is the only entity that reports objectively and promptly. But I reiterate again, despite that some might now try to make us blind, we will remain in eastern Ukraine, and we will continue to deploy new monitors to eastern Ukraine.
Mikhail
Shtekl, Radio Liberty. Yesterday, President of Russia, Putin, had a meeting of the Security Council of Russia, and one of the topics for the discussion was shelling of the OSCE mission by Ukrainian armed forces. Whether you can confirm or not confirm this information by Putin. And the second question, whether the conditions for your mission operations in Donetsk and Lugansk Oblast has changed upon the new appointment of the governor, when instead of Moskal, the new governor was appointed.
I'm not in a position to comment on what President Putin is elaborating in his governmental institutions. All incidents that affect us and that we have observed are being reported on a daily basis. That includes those incidents where we have come under direct fire from either side of the contact line. Now, with regard to our operations in eastern Ukraine, we will continue, despite the changes in leadership and security situation, and will continue to implement our mandate. It is, of course, obvious that we review the security situation on a daily, hourly basis, and we will take mitigation measures to reduce the risks that our unarmed civilian observers are exposed every day. Thank you.
Два уточнення.
112, two things. Ukrainian party on the 10th of August spoke to OSCE as to attack of militants near Starohradyk, and on the 2nd of August, you mentioned the paratroopers brigade from Russia, and then from Orenburg, and it became clear that they have no base in Orenburg, paratroopers. Also, what's your explanation to these statements?
This is old news to begin with. The OSCE Special Monitoring Mission is a monitoring mission, and it reports what it sees and what it hears. We have reported that the prisoners that are being held or have been held here in Kiev have claimed to be members of the Russian armed forces. We have reported that they have claimed so. We also refer to the so-called Donetsk Republic because they claim to be a republic. It's very difficult to verify where that claim originates, but we are not there to conduct intelligence information and gathering. We are there to observe and report what we hear. We also reported that a person being arrested by Ukrainian armed forces who tried to allegedly run with a truck full of ammunition across the contact line has also claimed to be a member of the Russian armed forces. We have reported that he claimed to be a member of the Russian armed forces. These individuals who have said that they are part of this brigade have claimed to be part of that brigade. We have reported that they have claimed to be part of that brigade. We report what we see, and we report what we hear. We are not an intelligence gathering organization. We are a transparent, open monitoring mission that reports what it sees and reports what it hears.
Thank you so much for coming. I had a quick question of two parts. The first one, when you originally discussed the OSCE's access being restricted, you didn't mention who it was being restricted by. My question was, is this restriction occurring on both sides, or is it occurring on one side? That's the first part. The second part, is there any evidence, based on what the OSCE has seen, that other parties might be involved in the conflict aside from the Ukrainian ATO, the DNR, and the LNR? Thank you very much.
Thank you. With your last question, I just refer what I said before, what we have seen and what we have heard. The OSCE is not there to draw conclusions from what we see and what we hear, but the information is available. It is now available since a good 16 or even more months, publicly available to all those who have interest to understand of what we have seen and what we have heard in Ukraine, and including in Eastern Ukraine. I also have to be very clear, there is no censorship that the mission applies. It publishes what it sees, it publishes what it hears, it publishes verified and triangulated information. And the best way to be objective and to be credible is to report what our observers directly see with their own eyes, because they are mandated to do so, or what they hear with their own ears. Now, with regard to the restrictions, restrictions happen in very different ways. We are being delayed on our ways when, despite our diplomatic status in Ukraine, we are stopped on the Ukrainian side at checkpoints, been asked for our nationalities and been asked to get our cars searched. These are delays, not entire restrictions, but it delays our travel. We are entirely restricted, for instance, by the so-called LPR to access the international border between Ukraine and the Russian Federation. On the Luhansk Oblast side, the entire border strip is systematically being restricted to us by these members. We are being restricted, as I have now briefed you earlier on, in accessing some of these holding sites on both sides, either completely, or then we are not allowed to go close to the weapons to note down their serial numbers, or we are just being allowed to look from a distance to these weapons. These are not entire and full restrictions, but they are limitations of our mandate, and it limits our ability to report what we see and to report what we hear. But as you, as a good reader of our report, also know, is that we also report on our restrictions. And if you read the mandate given to us by 57 participating states, including Ukraine and the Russian Federation, we are mandated to report about those that restrict our movement.
Дякую, колеги. На цьому будемо завершувати наш прес-брифінг.
Thanks,